got it. Click on maximize screen then. So now in the bottom you will see a button pause or stop recording, right?
I got it. Who? No.
No? Okay.
They can only see.
Okay,
You
good.
can see them there. Yeah. So Hare Krishna, we are going to go through the setting of the scene just briefly. It's just after the contents, setting the scene. It's where, yeah.
Is it chapter 1?
No. We are not going to chapter 1. So in the beginning, it's in the very beginning.
It's 13.
13?
I rated this, the next page after the contents page must be.
There's no, it's like X.
Oh,
Yeah.
setting the
Setting
scene.
the scene, yeah. So this is going to be very briefly. We need to know, it's very important to know, Bhagavad Gita comes from which book?
Mahabharata.
Mahabharata. Very good. And see Mahabharata. Mahabharata. You wanna be?
We must be with you.
Yeah, so Mahabharata, Bhagavad Gita has been spoken in the middle. You know, Mahabharata is third. So what we will do very quickly, let's read and I will, yeah, so even the Zoom, the devotees on the Zoom, at some point you follow and then we'll be reading each paragraph very quickly, and wherever I tell you to stop, then we can discuss some of the things there. Yeah, Bhagavad Gita. Okay, so we start reading Vishnu.
Although widely published and read by itself, Bhagavad Gita originally appears as an episode in the Mahabharata, the epic Sanskrit history of the ancient world. The Mahabharata tells of events leading up to the present age of Kali. It was at the beginning of this age, some 50 centuries ago, that Lord Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita to his friend and devotee Arjuna.
Okay, so it's pretty clear. The Bhagavad Gita was spoken first. See the relationship, friend and devotee. So go ahead, Prabhu.
Their discourse, one of the greatest philosophical and religious dialogues known to man, took place just before the onset of war. A great fratricidal conflict between the 100 sons of Dhritarashtra, and on the opposing side, their cousins, the Pandavas, or sons of Pandu.
Yeah, so everybody is aware that Pandu and Dhritarashtra were two brothers. Dhritarashtra was the elder one, but he couldn't take the throne because of he was blind. So the throne was handed over to Pandu. And how many sons Dhritarashtra has?
100.
100. And Pandu had 5 sons. So Mahabharata is all about the drift between these two parties. We'll see how in the first verse Dhritarashtra will point it out, like we are not family. Yeah. So carry on, Prabhu. Can you read the next paragraph?
Dhritarashtra and Panda were brothers born in the Kuru dynasty, descending from King Bharat, a former ruler of the earth, from whom the name Mahabharat derives, because Dhritarashtra, the elder brother, was born blind. The throne was otherwise would have been his, was passed down to the younger brother Pandu.
Okay, so we see here the Pandavas were born in Kuru dynasty, and in which dynasty Krishna was born?
Yadu.
Yeah, very good. So I will tell you to read wherever it's needed, because did you all read this or you missed it? Anyway, it's not too long. So I will, okay, so these were As I mentioned to you, Dhritarashtra had 100 sons, and anybody knows the previous karma of Dhritarashtra, why he had 100 sons to be born and ultimately to be killed?
He did something with the eggs of the birds, right? Birds' eggs.
Yeah.
In his
Any-
previous life, 100 lives before, he was a hunter and he killed ruthlessly some 100 child birds of a
Okay,
parent.
yeah.
And he also blinded the mother bird.
Mm-hmm.
So because of that, he had to accumulate the pious activities of 100 lives in
Mm-hmm.
order to get 100 children first.
Mm-hmm.
And then to get the bad karma of killing those 100 children birds, his 100 children have to die.
Mm-hmm. So this is law of karma.
Mhm.
See, we see everything has already been, like, we can call it destiny, like we are fate, but the thing is, destiny is what we make, not in this lifetime. We are still making. Right now, when we are sitting here, when we're studying, we are creating our future life. Every second, every action we do is creating our future body or life. So just little, so this is something that is, I would lay emphasis on it. Just imagine how many minutes this action could have taken place. Let's say one day, let's say in a day, right? It took Dhritarashtra a day to get to see the bird and, not able to kill the bird, getting angry, and in his wrath, he was angry because he missed his target, the mother bird. Can you imagine, like, he's killing and he got angry because he's missed that bird? So in anger, he shot an arrow that killed the 100 baby birds. And that action might have taken just one day. But for that action, there should be the same reaction, right? So for that same reaction, Dhritarashtra need to have 100 children. Now to have 100 children, especially children, you need to have sukriti, you need to have good, you need to deserve to have 100 sons. And for that, he had to, in his way, the karma came in a way that he had to accumulate that punya to become father of one son, second son. So like that, it took him 100 lives so that he can become father of 100 sons. Then that's these sons to be killed during Mahabharata. So understand the intricacies of law of karma. Sometimes it can take a few minutes, sometimes even seconds. You shot someone, but the reaction, lifetime in the prison, and not only lifetime. The government can decide, okay, this much of prison, but real judge Yamraj, he has the real verdict. So this is how Dhritarashtra ended up being blind and having 100 sons who are going to be killed in the battlefield. So, and what happened to Pandu? Pandu died at an early age. So we know who is the Pandu and Dhritarashtra, or the son of who? Anybody knows? Parashara Muni. Parashara Muni, actually, if you, Parashara Muni, I will not go too much in detail. Pandu had 5 sons, everybody knows. And then Duryodhan, see, it's all in Krishna's pastime. Duryodhan, being one of the eldest son of Dhritarashtra, envied the Pandavas, and this ended up in the war in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. So I mean, will not, if anybody has any, you have knowledge, that's fine. Or if you want to know more about Mahabharata, then you can read the book. Otherwise, you can ask personal questions at some point. So now we will go to introduction. Yeah, can we go to the PowerPoints?
You want me to share the screen, Martin, or because they cannot see this right now.
Yeah, you can share. Those who are on Zoom, right? They cannot see. Yeah, you share. So let's read Bhagavad Gita. Mataji, can you read?
Okay, from I was born.
No, we already completed that. So where we finish, there's the Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Okay.
Yeah, we just below.
Hare Krishna. Bhagavad Gita is also known as Gita Upanishad. It is the essence of Vedic knowledge and one of the most important of Upanishads in Vedic literature. Of course, there are many commentaries in English on the Bhagavad Gita, and one may question the necessity for another one. This present edition can be explained in the following way. Recently, an American lady asked me to recommend an English translation of Bhagavad Gita. Of course, in America, there are so many editions of Bhagavad Gita available in English. But as far as I've seen, not only in America, but also in India, none of them can be strictly said to be authoritative because it's almost every one of them. The commentator has expressed his own opinion without touching the spirit of Bhagavad Gita as it is.
Yes, so from this first paragraph, there is a preaching application. When we are studying Bhakti Shastri, this is something how we can promote Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita on a very powerful ground. So the preaching application is none of the other Bhagavad Gitas can be strictly said to be authoritative. That's why even there were like hundreds of translation of Bhagavad Gita, they didn't, what does authority mean?
Authority is like when Krishna spoke the Bhagavad Gita, that's like authority. That's why Arjuna wanted like that so that other men can follow.
Definitely. So authority, thank you, Mataji. Another thing, what do you, if I say I am the authority, I am the authority
You're
of
able
this,
to be trusted or
able to be trusted. Yes, and
You are
You're the head,
you are a
right?
representative.
head. So what does a head has? What's the,
Credential?
sorry?
And the credential, like what?
Credentials, and he can make decisions. So he has the power to make decision. So authority, what authority means? It has the Shakti, it has the power, which is missing in other Bhagavad Gitas. That's why when Prabhupada wrote Bhagavad Gita as it is, it transformed hearts of millions and millions souls. And it is still is happening, and it is going to happen for the coming 10,000 years. So this is a preaching application. So at some point, I will make you become familiarized with these applications, because our method of learning is aim driven, not content. Content driven, everybody knows Bhagavad Gita, content. No, that's not the method. We aim. So here we learn something about preaching application. And this is something, we have marathon, we see a person on the road. If you're giving Bhagavad Gita, this is something you apply in your outreach program. And for us to understand how powerful Bhagavad Gita is. So next paragraph, Ma Shakti.
The spirit of Bhagavad Gita is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita itself. It is just like this. If we want to take a particular medicine, then we have to follow the directions written on the label. We cannot take the medicine according to our own whim or the direction of a friend. It must be taken according to the directions on the label or the directions given by a physician. Similarly, Bhagavad Gita should be taken or accepted as it is directed by the speaker himself. The speaker of Bhagavad Gita is Lord Sri Krishna. He is mentioned on every page of Bhagavad Gita as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Bhagavan. Of course, the word Bhagavan sometimes refers to any powerful person or any powerful demigod, and certainly here Bhagavan designates Lord Sri Krishna as a great personality, but at the same time, we should know that Lord Sri Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as is confirmed by all great acharyas. Spiritual masters like Sankaracharya, Ramanuja Acharya, Madhava Acharya, Nimbarka Swami, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and many other authorities of Vedic knowledge in India. The Lord himself also establishes himself as the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the Bhagavad Gita, and he is accepted as such in the Brahma Samhita and all the Puranas, especially the Srimad Bhagavatam, known as the Bhagavata Purana, Krishna's to Bhagavan Swayam. Therefore, we should take Bhagavad Gita as it is directed by the Personality of Godhead himself.
Yes, very good, Bhartiji. So here in this second paragraph, Krishna, being the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is being established. Because see, Jesus Christ, when he came, he said, I am the Son of God. Muhammad never said, I am God. He said, I am the
Prophet.
prophet. Prophet means representative. Like that, in many scriptures, see, the problem is not with Jesus Christ. The problem is not with Muhammad or other representative. The problem is with the followers. They are power, they are Shaktivesh avatar, they are sent by Krishna according to time, place, circumstance. If I sent you to a kindergarten to teach students, you're going to teach to their level. If I send Prabhu to teach grade 6, he's going to read them big sentences, So in that way, they all mention, and here we have to, sometimes I've like to, Prabhupada had to mention about Brahma. Look, Brahma accept Krishna as the Supreme Lord. Please, you accept. He has to back up. Why? Is there a need? God is God. Krishna is the Supreme. Is there a need? Yes. There is a need for low conscious people to make them convinced. Look, you're dealing with Krishna. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Then who says that? Lord Brahma says that. And who says that? Madhavacharya, Ramanujacharya. I mean, these are very stalwart personalities, like even Mahaprabhu. So this is also in Srimad Bhagavatam, Krishna's to Bhagavan Swayam. So here in this paragraph, Krishna, being the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is being established. This is also a preaching application. So anything anybody wants to add? Yes.
I didn't quite understand. So this preaching application, what's the name?
Okay.
To describe that particular preaching application.
Okay, preaching.
What is it?
Preaching application is how you can apply this knowledge when you are telling someone else about Krishna.
Yes, I know that, but what I'm saying, you said this is an application. How you resume that application you're referring to?
Do you have the book? Do you have this book?
Yes, I do.
Did you bring this book?
No, I have pictures. I've taken pictures.
It's for preaching to the public. That's what this means.
How you apply?
Yeah, I know that. I thought you were referring to a specific.
Yeah, she is.
Which one is that?
So
But God
in
is-
here-
You understand my question?
yeah, I do understand the question. So in what she's saying is in here, there's all these acharyas that are all on the record as saying Krishna is God,
Yeah.
right? And so like Mataji was saying, Jesus in the Bible never says he's God. He's always saying I'm the son of God.
Yes.
And Muhammad says he's the prophet of God. So this is a good application for us to show that all these acharyas all affirm the fact that
The
Krishna is
hierarchies,
God.
probably. Hierarchies of the
Well,
different
Yeah, I mean,
representants
all
of the
these,
Lord.
all these acharyas are all confirm the fact that Krishna is God, is Bhagavan, right?
Oh, okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and like, that's, and what she's saying is that there's followers of Jesus, not acharyas of Jesus, right? Not in that line, that all are, they're confused sometimes and they're saying he's God, even though Jesus never said that himself, right? Is that?
Yeah, very
Ah,
good,
okay,
Prabhu.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Very
so
good.
so just using these example of all these acharyas is a
Yeah.
good preaching application to it, if someone's asked.
Clarify.
Because I've had this when
Clarification,
we're on
yeah.
Parino, people will say, well, in the Bible, it says Jesus is God. It's like, well, no, right? And then so it's like, well, how do you know Krishna is God? And so then we can say, all these acharyas from this many,
They confirm.
they all confirmed it, right? Yeah,
All right, okay, yeah, it's just sort of defend a point and you have samples of who were providing that divine knowledge, different.
yeah. So it's not just coming from us, right? So it's not
Exactly,
just one of
no.
our opinions.
Yeah, now I understand, thank you, yeah.
Can I say one thing?
Yes, yeah.
Because for preaching app, I think because we are doing this course, Bhakti Shastri, and they want us to become preachers. So when they're putting a preaching app, it also helps us when we become preachers one day, we can go back to these references, how to teach like Mataji.
Oh, no, that wasn't, that was clear. That wasn't the question.
Oh, for the-
Yeah, that was, I think I got confused. He wasn't asked, he's very clear about what a preaching application means.
Yeah.
What he meant, but he was lost on what exactly she was referring to in reference to in that. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
yeah, so there's predecessors, they have this divine information. And you're preaching every time you're talking, basically. You preach when you're with your friends or your co-workers, and whether you know or not. If you have the knowledge, you're preaching.
Yeah, so can we move? It's clear now. Thank you. Can we? Yes, we move. Then next paragraph. Anybody even on the Zoom line, if you have any comments to share, any queries, feel free. Otherwise, we'll move to the next paragraph. So go ahead, Aryan.
Hear the Lord.
Yeah, hear the Lord. No, read.
Here the Lord informs Arjuna that this system of yoga, the Bhagavad Gita, was first spoken to the sun god, and the sun god explained it to Manu, and Manu explained it to Ishvaku, and in that way, by disciplic succession, one speaker after another, this yoga system has been coming down. But in the course of time, it has become lost. Consequently, the Lord has to speak it again, this time to Arjuna, on the battlefield of Kurukshetra.
Yes, so another truth to spiritual knowledge is nobody can come and, today scriptures mention that God appears like mushrooms all over the world. You know how mushrooms appears?
They pop.
Yeah, so this is what happens today. Anybody who has just a little bit of siddhi, mystic power, he's God like yeah. I mean, so how do we, because how do we question whatever that person is teaching is bona fide, and if he's really God? So the knowledge is not something that yesterday I decided I have, in my opinion, this is this. And believe me, these scientists is all about their opinions. And just because they are so-called scientists, like people of low low knowledge, what do? They worship scientists as God. So we need to understand who we should be worshiping, who is God, and what knowledge is bona fide. If anything is not bona fide, even in material world, if you take a medication, if it's not bona fide, will it take effect? No. So spiritual knowledge also, if it's not bona fide, then it will not transform the heart of the inquirer or the reader. So this is how disciplic succession, Krishna is very clear. Look, Arjuna, you are not the first person to get to receive this knowledge. The very first time I gave to who? Krishna. So what you can do, if you can go very quickly to before the chapter 1, before starting of chapter 1, we can see quickly that the disciplic succession.
Oh, yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
In your Bhagavad Gita, you see Krishna gave to Brahma. And Brahma gave to Narada. Like that, it's coming until Prabhupada. You see, Prabhupada is mentioned here. So this is how, and knowledge in disciplic succession, it should be given in disciplic succession. And what is another important criteria to make sure it's not adulterated? What another criteria?
It has to be from scripture.
Yes.
Okay.
So it should like I give to Vishnu, Vishnu give to you. So suppose I give this to Vishnu. So what we have to make sure before Vishnu gives that to you, he doesn't
Change it.
He doesn't tear the pages, or he doesn't add my opinion. That's called, what is that called? Mental
speculation.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah, but that's what is called the para.
That's parampara.
Yeah.
Disciplic succession is called parampara. So there is two things very important. You give, and it shouldn't, while handing over, it shouldn't be changed. So when that is broken, Krishna makes sure yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyutanam yadharmasya. Very good. So here, now we have to be very clear. See, we are Bhakti Shastri devotees. We know that we will not go and follow anyone else. But this is how, again, how we can help others. The moment you're giving Bhagavad Gita, one point, this disciplic succession, not adulterated, it should flow systematically. So, Charandi Prabhu, can you read the next paragraph, please?
Yes, Mataji. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Sorry, I had to step away earlier. Which paragraph is
No
this?
worry. He tells Arjuna, okay, anyone in the Zoom line for now until you can follow.
Sure.
He tells, yes, Don Yamata, go ahead.
Here the Lord informs Arjuna that this system of yoga, the Bhagavad Gita,
No, next paragraph.
he tells Arjuna that he is relating this supreme secret to him because Arjuna is his devotee and his friend. The purport of this is that Bhagavad Gita is a treatise which is especially meant for the devotee of the Lord. There are three classes of transcendentalists, namely the Jnani, the Yogi, and the Bhakta, or the impersonalist, the mediator, and the devotee. Here the Lord clearly tells Arjuna that he is making him the first receiver of a new parampara, disciplic succession, because the old succession was broken. It was the Lord's wish, therefore, to establish another parampara in the same line of thought that was coming down from the sun god to others, and it was his wish that his teaching be distributed anew by Arjuna. He wanted Arjuna to become the authority in understanding the Bhagavad Gita. So we see that Bhagavad Gita is instructed to Arjuna, especially because Arjuna was a devotee of the Lord, a direct student of Krishna, and his intimate friend. Therefore, Bhagavad Gita is best understood by a person who has qualities similar to Arjuna's. That is to say, he must be a devotee in a direct relationship with the Lord. As soon as one becomes a devotee of the Lord, he also has a direct relationship with the Lord. That is a very elaborate subject matter, but briefly it can be stated that a devotee is in a relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead in one of 5 different ways. 1, one may become a devotee in a passive state. 2, one may become a devotee in an active state. 3, one may become a devotee as a friend. 4, one may become a devotee as a parent. 5, one may be a devotee as a conjugal lover.
Thank you very much, Mataji. So this paragraph is very important. That's going to create our foundation even before we dive in the first chapter. So here, see Arjuna again. Arjuna is in Krishna's pastime. Now there is a question. We see there are many people in the world, especially from India. They know Bhagavad Gita. One of the challenges we have with people from, especially, they know Krishna. But then here Krishna is telling only a devotee knows me. And then when sometimes you ask these people, they can even at the tip of their fingers chant verses from Bhagavad Gita. And they think that they will tell you about Krishna as if Krishna is their neighbor. And then you ask them, oh, you know about Bhagavad Gita. Did you read the 19th chapter of Bhagavad Gita? Yes, yes, yes.
It's not this time.
No, I'm telling you, they are more, sometimes when we have little knowledge, it's, in French, it's called you don't become more kingly than a king. So this is the danger. Many people know Bhagavad Gita, but they don't know Bhagavad Gita. See, this is the difference. And who can only know? What's the difference? As I mentioned, someone knows Krishna, but that person doesn't know Krishna. Who knows Krishna?
You have to have a devotional.
Devotee.
Devotee. It's a special heart, I think.
This
Kind of.
Five people can understand.
Yeah, the 5 people. So here, see the magnanimity of Srila Prabhupada. Try to see the causeless mercy of Srila Prabhupada. What he did right in the beginning, introduction is going till pages. But why he put to develop this relationship right in the beginning of introduction? Why?
So there is reference to, but for me, if I don't know the name, I don't know how to search it, where what he said, what he did, where he lived, or all these references.
Well, not exactly what
Not
we are pointing out.
One reason can be that people don't read introduction, and it's in the first 5 pages.
Yeah.
So sometimes people read few pages of introduction and they start reading the first chapter because introduction is too long.
Yes.
And the second reason can be that before start, Prabhupada wanted to tell the person that before reading the Gita, you should be one of them.
Very good, Aryan. Very good point. So we'll
State
come
of
to
mind,
that.
they should be, so that they can understand.
So here, Prabhupada, see this privilege Krishna hasn't given in Bhagavad Gita in the first chapter. In the second chapter, he hasn't. But you will see Krishna will start speaking about relationship, devotion in the coming chapters, after 5-6 chapters. And what Prabhupada did, he cannot wait.
You told in last class.
Yeah, he cannot wait. So what he did here, he's like, develop similar qualities as Arjuna. He's telling Aryan, you are here, there's a reason. You're studying Bhagavad Gita, there's a reason. And then how can you, when you become intimate with me, how can you become intimate with me in this? Actually, the first one is not really considered. We don't really take that into consideration, the passive state. That is not really a platform to develop connection, relationship, passive state. But the 4, one may, the 5 rasas, Sakya ras.
Sorry. So what is he referring to when he says passive state? One may be a devotee in a passive state.
Passive state, it's almost like, I'll take an example. If I'm walking on the street, I will respect people because they're human beings. I can relate to them, but at the end, I can relate to them. I have a relationship with them just as another human being. But at the end of the day, I don't have any relationship with them. I can casually help them or say something or give them a seat on the bus. But deep down, I don't have that relationship. The relationship that I have with my close friend, the relationship that I have with my children, my husband, my wife, like that. So passive is neutral. Is that clear, Mataji? Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah, well, I have a question. So, because for me personally,
Yeah,
when I first came to the Gita,
yeah,
I hadn't quite developed a personal relationship with Krishna yet.
yeah,
Like I recognized Krishna as God,
yeah.
but I didn't have I couldn't consider myself a friend or any of this, right? But so I came kind of, I'd say neutral. I don't know if passive is the right state because I was enthusiastic, but it developed. Like I feel like you may come into it originally in one state, but as you develop this relationship with Krishna, it changes. So the flavor changes as well. Like I can say now it's more friendly. Like it's an interesting, but there's also like this teacher aspect. Like there's a different waves of flavors that come through it. But I know for like when I first came to it, it was more so of surrendered, I guess, right?
Yes.
Not passive, but there definitely wasn't like any kind of friendly or lover or any of this. So is that maybe where the passive is? Is it a before you have a specific relationship?
Yeah, take an example. Sometimes a person on the street becomes your very close friend. So in the beginning, the relationship is neutral.
Yeah.
You just met someone in the bus and you started having a conversation, and that becomes active. You see, you get involved. And at some point, that person can become your beloved husband, your beloved wife, or your dear friend. So the stages, it's mentioned in Madhurya Ras, when we approach Krishna as a conjugal lover, all the other rasas are included. Friendship is included there. That's why sometimes we have the reflection of the rasas. When we are husband and wife, we tend to look for the friend in the person. We tend to look sometimes the mother in the, so all these, because we are jivas, we have these minute qualities of the Lord. So that's why you see in Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, all the analogies we're going to take from the material experience to explain the spirituality behind.
Well, but that's also because like material worlds are a perverted reflection of the spiritual
Exactly.
world. So all the essence is all here. But
It's just perverted. It's just opposite. Yeah.
Like the banyan tree.
Yes. So Here what Prabhupada is telling, that even try it, even it's artificial, try it even artificially to think of Krishna as a friend, or think which mood you're comfortable, which comes quite natural to you. Like when we start Bhakti Shastri, Krishna is my friend. I'm going to meet Krishna on Sunday at 5 o'clock. You see, I'm going to the temple to meet my friend. Or if you have this mood of Vatsalya, many people, especially in India, even today in the temple in Mangalarti, one lady, old lady, he was carrying baby Krishna. So for him, for her, he sees Krishna as her baby. He will feed Krishna, he will dress Krishna. That's parental relationship. And externally, when we practice, then internally that rasa takes shape. But initially, you need to have an inclination. So like that, we need to try to meditate on that. Even it's artificial. But there's a difference. That mood should be always imbibed by servitorship. We don't become sahajas. You see, like
In a mood of service.
yes. We serve Krishna as a friend. We serve Krishna as a lover. We serve Krishna as our child. So if you develop that, if you have this mood of, or pray to Krishna, pray to Guru. Like in the beginning for me, it was like that. I would switch. I want Krishna, my friend. No, I want Krishna to be my lover. But it's a rasa going on. And in the beginning, Prabhupada said, nothing comes natural. Nobody can tell me the very first day you joined Krishna consciousness, you were in bhava, you were in love with Krishna. Like, I cannot live without Krishna. Maybe you were in love with Prasad. That I can admit it. Krishna,
I can admit it.
What happens to you once we first come to Krishna consciousness and we are doing devotional service at home, right? And so like we have to like get some inclination like that to think that he's he's my friend or parent or lover or child, something like that.
yes. I'll give you an example why. Because if you just consider Krishna, you don't try to develop that, Krishna ends up being that person on the street. You understand? If he doesn't come in your chit, in your consciousness, in your center of attention and attraction, or it can come, it will take a long time. It might take even lifetime. And this is where Prabhupada shows his mercy. He tells, don't wait for that. Go grab Krishna's hand as your friend. Go grab.
Also in this Bhagavad Gita, it is said Krishna is the best friend of everybody. So for me, it comes naturally that Krishna would be our friend.
But genuinely mean it on every day. When you going to temple, think about, I'm going to meet my friend.
Yeah.
I want to see what my friend is wearing today. Oh, they have addressed my friend nicely today. He doesn't, and sometimes he look. This is the rasa. Otherwise, content Bhagavad Gita, many people can tell you like this, Bhagavad Gita, this. But then the heart, at the end of the day, Bhakti is spiritual life. You go through the Vedas, Puranas, Vedanta Sutra, everything. At the end of the day, if we haven't developed a relationship with Krishna, all this knowledge is of no use. And here Prabhupada is telling, look, I'm going to give you that. Vedanta Sutta, all this knowledge, it might take you lifetimes to study. Krishna is telling you, no, come at the back, just hold Krishna's hand.
It's easier.
Yeah. So this here is the beauty of Prabhupada's mercy. So this is also, you should imbibe that mood. We should imbibe that mood way before we start the first chapter. Or let me see Krishna, my friend, what he says to Arjuna. You know, when we have an intimate relationship with someone, are we not more interested to know about that person, what he's doing? Especially when we are in love, a boy is in love with a girl or vice versa. He's meditating what the girl is doing, what, you know? Yes, yeah. Yeah, so this is how, like, oh my Krishna, tomorrow it's the new year, what kind of dress he's going to be wearing. This is how we need to dovetail our energy, our consciousness, our thoughts in Krishna.
And it promotes an increase of attachment.
Exactly, and that attachment brings bliss.
Mhm.
That's why Krishna consciousness is blissful. Why we cannot feel the bliss all the time? We are supposed to be feeling all the time because we are not preparing our consciousness right from the beginning. And sometimes the sad scenario is we can be dry like that for years and years. Mechanically, we come to the temple. Mechanically, many people after having darshan, if I ask them what color of dress Krishna is wearing, they don't even, oh, I need to check again. Don't approach Krishna consciousness unconsciously.
Mm.
Do you get this point? Don't approach Krishna, don't embrace Krishna consciousness unconsciously. You're going to waste your lifetime.
Preparation. That happened to me, Mataji. For 40 years, there was no temples, there was no prasad. I had a Gita, but I read it, but there was no master, like in this case yourself, and spent 40 years reading Gita, but not really in my heart. I had a different, I explained to you personally what happened to me, but that could have been, like you said, for lives.
Yeah,
Until I stumble with something.
What to speak of 40 years? It can go to 40 lifetime. It can go to 40,000 lifetimes. It can go to 40 million lifetimes. That's the sad part. Spiritual life is so simple to reach Krishna that we miss it.
Also read in here, Prabhupada said surrender can happen in that minute or
second. And in second, you can go back home.
It depends how you.
So what is about this second of action? It's just the shift of consciousness. So Krishna conscious, why Prabhupada said about Krishna consciousness? See, we don't even understand the meaning of consciousness for years and years. So here is this thing. Look how the magnanimity of Prabhupada.
Yes.
He is like, even if Krishna is like, wait a minute, I don't want Aryan to develop this relationship with me right away because I'm going to be bound by him. I don't want Prabhupada. He's like, no, Krishna, you don't have any chance. You need to. Yes, this is what Prabhupada is doing. You don't have any choice. You have to accept. See how merciful Guru is?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'll tell you, if we really understand that, life will be different. So is that clear for everybody? So that is something you need to work on it from now on. You got the key to the back door, back home, back to Godhead. So what we do, Shudanshu Prabhu, can you read the next paragraph, please?
Sure, Mataji. Arjun was in a relationship with the Lord as a friend. Of course, there is a gulf of difference between this friendship and the friendship found in the material world. This is transcendental friendship, which cannot be had by everyone. Of course, everyone has a particular relationship with the Lord, and that relationship is evoked by the perfection of devotional service. But in the present status of our life, not only we have forgotten the Supreme Lord, but we have forgotten our eternal relationship with the Lord. Every living being out of many, many billions and trillions of living beings has a particular relationship with the Lord eternally. That is called Swarupa. By the process of devotional service, one can revive that Swarupa. And that stage is called Swarupa Siddhi, perfection of one's constitutional position. So Arjuna was a devotee and he was in touch with the Supreme Lord in friendship. Should I continue?
No, thank you very much, Shudanshu Prabhu.
Thank
So
you.
what we have to understand here, see the potential, Prabhupada is explaining that the relationship, how our relationship also becomes transcendental with Krishna. How?
By service.
Very good. Very good. By devotional service, it becomes transcendental. Any activity that is done in the service of Krishna, Anya Bilasita Sunyam, favorably as Krishna desires, without any material motivation, without any mental speculation, that becomes pure devotional service. See, we need to understand, if we are cooking something just by meditating Krishna, I love you, Krishna. I'm not perfect. I have all my impurities, but Krishna, this is some preparation for 5 minutes. For that 5 minutes, Krishna, I just want to have that mood, that purity. I'm making that for you. Please accept it. That becomes transcendental. And next to you, someone is just cooking, and that may be something way tastier than you're doing, but the consciousness is not there. I'm just making, oh, I'm such a big cook. Krishna is good, Finish. That's material, that's transcendental. That one Krishna will taste, the other one Krishna will not taste. So many times we have to ask ourselves, how many times our service was on pure consciousness, mixed, sometimes mixed consciousness, sometimes service in mode of passion, ignorance. So we need to always calculate and work towards it. And this is how we develop transcendental relationship. Now, what is the Swarup Siddhi? It's true, all the jivas, we already have our eternal relationship in Golokdham with Krishna. But I'll give you an example why Prabhupada also mentioned this in the beginning. I'll give you an example. Many of you, even before you became husband or wife, which is the very intimate relationship, you met as friends and you were functioning as friends. Or maybe not you, but many people have this. In the beginning, it was friendship and the loving exchange was friend, until the Swarupa took, oh, I realize you're good, you're my wife, that unveiled. As so every relationship is encapsulated. The Swarup Siddhi, the Swarupa, is encapsulated in the relationship that we are trying to develop with Krishna. And ultimately, this is how you cannot go back to Krishna until you have developed a relationship in the material world itself. If you haven't practiced that here, forget about going back to Krishna. The practice starts here. And then suddenly you're serving Krishna as a friend. And then, the more you progress, the more you feel you're becoming intimate. And then your Swarup is apparent to you. It's even mentioned, before you leave your body, someone who is ready to go back home, back to Godhead, has the ability to know his Swarup. If that person is almost ready to go back home, he almost recognizes his Swarup. That's a very high level of devotion. Acharyas, sadhus, even sannyasis, they can have these grasp, but this is very high level. But if I tell you there is that topmost study, which is PhD, so where should we start? We should start from the kindergarten to go there. So right now we are in kindergarten, right, learning to write A, B, C. Yeah, long way to go. but surely, slowly and surely. Anything? Sudhanshu Prabhu, do you want to add anything into this paragraph?
Sure, Mataji. You were rightly saying that this is the most highest stage of devotional service in which you recognize your own Siddh Deha, Swarup.
Yeah.
And basically, Gaudiya Vaishnavism, our Sampradaya, is all about this, to realize our own real Swarupa. Because in Chaitanya Charitamrit, in the Rai Ramanand Samvad, it is described until and unless you have realized your own spiritual form, until and unless you have got your Siddh Deha, you cannot go back to spiritual world, no matter how advanced you are. So, main purpose of everything, whether Bhagavad Gita, Chaitanya Charitamrit, Bhagavatam, it's to revive our that Siddh Deha, to get our Bhav De, get our Siddh De, in order to which, as Prabhupada used to say, once you get that, you get a spiritual television. Bhakti Siddhanta Maharaj also used to say that. Then that when he used to publish his magazines, his papers, people used to ask him, how can you get so much stuff, so much information about the spiritual world? And he used to reply, because this is spiritual television. Once you get your spiritual form, it's just like you are seeing Radha Krishna sitting in this body. And in one of the articles and one of the paragraphs, Prabhupada writes, this stage is called the liberated stage. And to attain this stage, first you have to become liberated in this body. It's not that after leaving this body, you become liberated. Living in this body, we have to become liberated, meaning that we have to get ourselves liberate from all material relationships and be in totally connection with Krishna 24 hours. Then only it's possible to get this Siddh Deha. And in the Nectar of Instruction, also in the verse 8, and in Srimad Bhagavatam, and in Chaitanya Charitamrit, and in Harinam Chintamani, and so many books of our acharyas, this same process has been given. A five-step ladder process in how to attain this Swarup Siddhi, in which it basically starts with, while chanting, for example, we struggle to focus our mind on the holy name, on the form, on the leelas. But in Prema Bhakti Chandrika of Srila Narottam Das Thakur, he gives this point again and again that while chanting, you should meditate on the form, meditate on the leela, because once you do that, you start develop a different rasa. You start feeling that rasa with Krishna and Krishna's leela and Krishna's name. And slowly, gradually, once your chanting becomes mature, you're able to concentrate 100%. That is called like a samadhi, that you're in samadhi, and in that form, your Swarupa is revealed to you. This is the process of getting an eternal relationship with the Lord, while living in this body. And Prabhupada gives this in the very beginning. When I read the Bhagavad Gita, I basically missed this point, missed this paragraph. But now when I'm reading it, I'm really surprised that Prabhupada is giving such a high level of information in the very beginning. So, really amazed.
Yeah. So thank you very much, Sudhanshu Prabhu. Krishna, according to our eagerness, he will give us guidance where we stand in our spiritual life and how fast we want to move. And also liberation, as Sudhanshu said, liberation is not going, we are not going to be liberated after we leave our body. No, Bhakti is so powerful, is so strong that the moment you start performing devotional service, that's the door of liberation is open. Liberation starts the moment you start performing devotional service. See, people outside can see we're just cutting vegetable. Oh, Mahashakti is doing aarti. It's just an act, this. Oh, but try to understand that very same act with the proper consciousness, with love and devotion. That is the key for one's liberation. While sadhus, yogis, in Himalaya going for years, 100, 500 years, they're still in Himalayas meditating to achieve liberation. And we just going to the temple, cleaning the temple, cooking, cutting vegetable, doing arti, and at the end enjoying prasad, eating, dancing.
It looks mundane from the outside perspective.
That's why people think, oh, what are they doing? No, like this is crazy. Even they told Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, you're a sannyasi. How can you be just chanting and dancing like a mad person? Because they feel that achieving liberation is something big.
Very difficult.
Yeah, no. That's why, but the danger is because it's so simple, we miss it. That's the danger. And we do it. We blow it so many times. I do that so many times because it's so easy. You know, like Krishna. So that's very clear. And Krishna Shanti Mati, Charandip, would you like to read the next paragraph?
Yes, Mataji. Thank you. How Arjuna accepted this Bhagavad Gita should be noted. His manner of acceptance is given in the 10th chapter, 10:12 to 14. Arjuna Uvacha, Param Brahma Param Dhama, Pavitram Paramam Bhavan, Purusham Shashvatam Divyam, Adidevam Ajam Vibhum, Ahustvam Rishayah Sarve, Devarshir Naradastata, Asito Devalo Vyasaha, Swayam Chaiva Bravishime, Sarvam Etad Ritam Manye, Yanmam Vadasi Keshava, Nahite Bhagavan Vyaktim, Vidur Deva Nadanava. Arjuna said, you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the ultimate abode, the purest, the absolute truth. You are the eternal, transcendental, original person, the unborn, the greatest. All the great sages such as Narada, Vasita, Devala, and Vyasa confirms this truth about you. And now you yourself are declaring it to me. O Krishna, I totally accept as truth all that you have told me. Neither the demigods nor the demons, O Lord, can understand your personality.
Yeah, thank you very much, Charandi Prabhu. See, where Bhagavad Gita ends, which scripture starts? Srimad Bhagavatam. And the very first verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, Janmadi Asya Yatunbayat Itaratas Charte Shav Abhignya Sarat. It explains right from the beginning. This is the verse Krishna Janmadi Asya Yatunbayat. Like how, if you go, the very first verse of Srimad Bhagavatam is so loaded. It encapsulates Krishna's supremacy right away. And guess what Prabhupada did? Translation is like loaded, so huge. Again, Prabhupada is like, you know what Prabhupada did? If ever you just open the Bhagavad Gita, you just read one sentence. He wants to make sure if ever anybody just read one sentence in Bhagavad Gita, he can find devotion there to Krishna. So that he doesn't miss it. See, this is how Prabhupada's introduction is loaded. We cannot miss that. So here again, the very one important thing is, see, there is Krishna and there is Arjuna. There is Guru, there is Sukdev Goswami, there is Parikshit Maharaj. There is Narad Muni, there is listener is the Vyasdev, disciple is the Vyasdev. Sutta Goswami is the Guru, the sages of Naimisharanya or the students. The qualification of the teacher and the qualification of the students has been emphasized again and again and again. The mood of a teacher, what quality the teacher should have, and the mood and quality of the student. That is, if we are able to develop that mood, as scriptures mention, Bhagavatam mention, Bhagavad Gita mentions, here Prabhupada is telling how Arjuna accepted this Bhagavad Gita should be noted. Should be noted. Because the mood, if you don't prepare your mood, your consciousness, your approach towards Bhagavad Gita, you can study Bhagavad Gita lifetimes and lifetimes, yet the knowledge will not be revealed to you. You can read Bhagavad Gita like a parrot, read the verses after verses, and still the bhakti, lata bij, will not sprout in your heart. Why? Because of the proper mood and consciousness. See, Arjuna is telling Krishna, I have no doubt you are the supreme, you're the ultimate, you're the purest. So in our heart, we need to have this conviction that Krishna, you are the unborn, you are the origin, and mean it and glorify that, establish the samskara. So guru, sometimes, when we approach a guru, we are like, oh, let me see if that guru is qualified or not. Or today I think she's qualified, and tomorrow she's not doing that well. Or she's, you can do that, but that is, you think you are in a better position. But then Mahaprabhu, what did he say? Even he's Bhagwan. He said, I am a fool in front of my spiritual master. Why? Because see what happens, Guru is just the representative, is just an instrument through which Krishna is channeling the knowledge. He or she is just an instrument. And if you have that ego, if you have that mood, Krishna is going to give you what you deserve according to your purity and your impurity of consciousness. So this is also very important. Sometimes we shop for guru. And today one of the in the past, how you would achieve guru. Narad Muni is going to explain how he was able to have guru in his life by serving them menially. Here we have we go on our YouTube, and just a click of button, we have gurus, different gurus, and we have this mindset, oh, I can decide this guru is better, that guru. And this is how Maya's agent mess up our consciousness. The relationship of a guru is not like you are shopping on, oh, I get this. No, there is a very, very sacred relationship between a guru and the disciple. Then only the knowledge is imparted. Otherwise, even if a teacher is able to say something, it doesn't completely depend on the teacher's what he has to give. It depends on how much, what degree of purity of consciousness, of eagerness, of submissiveness the students have. To that extent, Krishna gives the student the knowledge via the teacher. And at the end of the day, what does Guru Prabhupada say? I'm just a servant of Krishna. So you have to, that mode should be established, submissive, open-hearted, not judgmental. Otherwise, Krishna will say, okay, you want to be judgmental, I'm going to reinforce that quality of yours, and I'm going to put the curtain, and then you take your time, wander in the material world, and after you get some kind of slaps from Maya Devi, But this is what happens in reality. No, Aryan? What happened when we do before? Sometimes it's hard to get back on right track unless we get some, some good slap, some yes. I mean, we are children, we are how we call rebellious children of Krishna. I mean, I don't know about others, but many times I do that. I'm like,
So
Krishna,
Maya serves a great purpose.
definitely. I'll tell you, even to be in Maya, Krishna has to allow you. Krishna has to give Maya Devi that permission to be in Maya. Who is Maya Devi? Krishna's external Shakti. I don't know how in the school, sometimes there is some disciplinary person in a school. I don't know how they call here, who makes sure that there is discipline among children. And so this is the job of Maya Devi. And the moment Maya Devi sees, then the moment Krishna says, okay, this child of mine has learned the lessons, then it's like, okay, Maya Devi, leave Mahashakti alone now. let her go on the altar, let her serve me. And for Vishnu, he still wants to enjoy, so you take care of Vishnu. See, this is how isn't it true?
Yes.
That how it's all Krishna. And then we have to just say, Krishna, just help me not become the recipient of disciplinary action from Maya Devi. Is this clear?
Yes.
Yeah. So Krishna Shanti, are you there? So I will tell Vishnu Prabhu to read after hearing Bhagavad Gita.
After hearing Bhagavad Gita from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Arjuna accepted Krishna as Param Brahma, the Supreme Brahman. After every living being is Brahman, but the Supreme Living Being or the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the Supreme Brahman. Param Dhama means that he is the supreme rest or abode of everything. Pavitra means that he is pure, untainted by material contamination. Purusham means that he is the supreme enjoyer. Shashvatam, eternal. Divyam, transcendental. Adidevam, the original supreme personality of Godhead. Ajam, the unborn, and Vibhum, the greatest.
So here the supremacy of Krishna, like you will see, we need to make sure you never confuse between Lord Brahma, which is the secondary creator, and Param Brahma, Supreme Brahman. Krishna also sometimes is refers as Brahma, but not Brahma, the forehead personality, Supreme Brahman. So every living being is Brahman. Now, sometimes Mayavad philosophy can tell, like, Krishna is God, we are God. See the danger here? Because it's so big. But here even Prabhupada said that. So we are all one. I am God, Vishnu is God, everybody is God. No, qualitatively, we have this ability, not in quantity. So it makes us look like God, but we are not God. There will be always a difference, always, eternally. God will always remain God. No human being, Jiva, can become God at any point. He can become godly. And we need to try to become godly, saintly. And people out there, many people, they have this mindset, the loss is snare of Maya. Loss is snare. Someone who wants to eat, drink, and merry-making, they are babies. Babies. But, yes, in their sinful activity. Loss is snare of Maya is one who wants to become God.
Or thinks they can become.
or they think they have become God by just little bit of ashes and here and there. This is the state of affairs of the world today. So this is how we need to understand that Krishna is this supreme. And I think we all Bhakti Shastri students. There's not much to explain about that. So can we move to the next paragraph, Prabhu?
Now, one may think that because Krishna was a friend of Arjuna, Arjuna was telling him all this by way of flattery. But Arjuna, just to drive out this kind of doubt from the minds of the readers of the Bhagavad Gita, substantiates these praises in the next verse, when he says that Krishna is accepted as the supreme personality of Godhead, not only by himself, but by authorities like Narada, Asita, Devala, and Vyasadeva. These are great personalities who distribute the Vedic knowledge as it is accepted by all acharyas. Therefore, Arjuna tells Krishna that he accepts whatever he says to be completely perfect. Sarvam etad ritam manye. I accept everything you say to be true. Arjuna also says that the personality of the Lord is very difficult to understand, and that he cannot be known even by the great demigods. This means that the Lord cannot even be known by personalities greater than human beings. So how can a human being understand Lord Krishna without becoming his devotee?
This is very interesting. See, then we will, after we read the other paragraphs, we will realize how fortunate we are, what qualification we got. We don't have any qualification. We don't have any adhikar. Adhikar means right. And Prabhupada, how mercifully he is giving us that adhikar. So can we, it's clear this paragraph. Can we move to the next paragraph?
I'm lost.
That's okay. That's okay. That's okay. Read, Mata.
Therefore, Bhagavad Gita should be taken up in a spirit of devotion. One should not think that he is equal to Krishna, nor should he think that Krishna is an ordinary personality or even a great personality. Lord Sri Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. So according to the statements of Bhagavad Gita or the statements of Arjuna, the person who is trying to understand the Bhagavad Gita, we should at least theoretically accept Sri Krishna as the supreme personality of Godhead. And with that submissive spirit, we can understand Bhagavad Gita. Unless one reads the Bhagavad Gita in a submissive spirit, it is very difficult to understand Bhagavad Gita because it is a great mystery.
See, here is a very important point that Prabhupada has emphasized. Therefore, Bhagavad Gita should be taken up in a spirit of devotion. Well, we can say, well, we are devotees, we have devotion, and we are well situated. But here is the thing, the spirit of devotion. How much this spirit of devotion is pure, and how it is constantly we are in a pure devotional consciousness. That is the challenge. Because sometimes, the moment that we put kantimala, we wear dhoti, we wear tilak, and we know how to say Hari Bol, and we know how to say the pranam mantra, and vancha kalpatarubhyascha. Wow, done. Is yes. And after 40 years in the movement, we enter the temple.
Yeah.
You don't stand up, you don't pay obeisance, you don't respect me, I'm a senior devotee. Well, we need to bear all that in mind. How are we practicing Trinadapi Nichena in our everyday life? Krishna, just in seconds, he can give you our word back home, back to Godhead. In the same way, if we do any Vaishnava Prat of any kind, it can destroy our creeper of bhakti, just like a mud elephant entering a garden and within seconds destroys a creeper.
Mhm.
And you know, one of the dangers is that if a creeper is damaged, deformed, it's almost impossible to bring it back to the normal. You can, just as this creeper, if there is a creeper, you can just tie a string, hold here, 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 here. But can you bring it to the natural state like it was in the past? No. Sometimes bhakti, try to understand, even a deformed child, it's not easy to make the child become normal. So make sure that we, in our constant devotional life, we have to make sure we don't deform our spiritual life.
The word that you see is submissive. Now I understand, because I tend to be like, well, I know this, and I stand in my high horse. But if you being submissive, even if you're ignorant, just the attitude will take you to the right path.
Or even if you know more than someone else, you can still be humble.
Well,
Or it
yes,
is even more important. I
that's
think.
expected to be that way.
Advancement, take that from me, what I took from very advanced devotees. No devotee is advanced just by the years of service. No devotee is advanced by how old they are. No devotee is advanced but by how much service they do day and night. No devotee is advanced by how much knowledge they have. The advanced devotee, you can detect, you have this adhikar, you have this right to judge how a devotee is advanced by the humility he has developed over the years. Bas.
But I think our acharyas too, they leave such a great example in their prayers. Like even the Srila Rupa Goswami, they're all saying they're the most fallen and they're unqualified and all this in their prayers. And I mean, they're our most sacred acharyas. I mean, so that I think that beginner's mind or that state of humbleness is something we have to carry with us through the whole practice. I was so thankful you emphasized that so much in the first couple classes, because it's a real reminder that we need.
Because it is important. Yeah. If you go for ISKCON disciple course, even approaching a master, a spiritual master, do you know there you have this adhikar, this right to test your spiritual master. Exactly. So how you're going to test with all your defects, all your impurities, all your imperfect senses? But still you have to, it's mentioned. At one side, sometimes there is so many contradiction. But in one side, I have to just blindly submissive, and then at one point I have to test who to choose, who to approach, who to associate with. Then how isn't it contradictory? So how to do that? Then Krishna guides, okay, you're not doing that from your point of view. Oh, let me see if Fernando Prabhu can become my spiritual master. Does he have this quality? No, did he shave? Yeah, did he shave his head? Yeah.
It's falling slowly.
Yeah, it's fall. See, if you don't shave, Krishna is gonna take it. Yes. Krishna, if you go in deeper pastimes with Krishna, this is what Krishna does with his devotees. He drags you from, he's like, you're mine now. You're mine.
They get you on the weakness. Yeah. If Krishna see you, you're strong in your bhakti, won't touch you. But if you are like you possess those demoniac qualities, then this when there is such is the problem.
That is also Krishna's mercy. Like, you know, a child, when a parent is disciplining the child, it's love. Actually, it's pure love. And if we reciprocate like that in any relationship, like friends, any relationship, friends means I can tell you, Mahashakti, you're my friend. That's wrong what you're doing. That's friendship.
Yes.
Otherwise, it's all
Otherwise, we don't
motivated.
care.
No, it's all motivated just to be the nice people pleaser.
Yeah.
So here, coming back to the point, is we understand the mood of what kind of mood we need to have.
So
And that applies to in our congregation. You go out in Dham, you need to have the adhikar to be able to choose. I want to associate with Vishnu. I don't want to associate with Aryan. That's not offensive. Don't. I'm just taking an example that we can respectfully. That is coming in other courses like Nectar of Devotion, Nectar of Instruction, about how we have this. We need to have this ability. We cannot approach a spiritual life sentimentally. I'm very good friend. Ma Shakti is very good friend with Nima. Or Nima has this spiritual master. I want to have the same. You cannot. That's why it's very important to know. Otherwise, you know what happens? Our spiritual activity, our spiritual life almost becomes social life. Social. It's a fine line. Oh, everybody is going for Sunday feast. You know, it's a fun to see so many people dancing, doing kirtan and having prasad. Then we enter the temple, we enter association of devotees. While we are thinking we are Krishna conscious, we are spiritually situated. But deep down, it's all social. We have to go beyond that. It's okay in the beginning. Even Prabhupada approached his guru because his friend brought him there. It was a social meeting. My friend is going, I'm going. Like me, I was a Christian and my friend was going to this Bhagavad Gita course and I'm on my way. I want to accompany my friend and all my way I'm telling Jesus Christ, I'm not going to listen to them. I'm not going to do anything. I just want to be with my friend. Yes, all the way I'm telling Jesus Christ, I'm not doing anything wrong. Yes. And then when I entered the course, you know, they were having Bhagavad Gita course, I was blown away. I was like, when I came back from there, I was so guilty about everything, and it took me quite a long time to work that things out. I'm like, I kept asking forgiveness to Jesus Christ that I went there. So initially it can be social, but make sure, see, spiritual life is not about how you start.
That you start is the main thing.
It's not about how you started. Yeah. It's about how you end.
How you end.
Yeah. It doesn't matter how you started, but make sure if you started in a social way or just eating prasad, you don't end up just, you know, all my life I just want to eat prasad. Don't tell me anything. Yeah. Yeah, it's, you know, it's a bit like, you know, you get, Krishna gives you a special ticket back home, back to Godhead, and you're telling Krishna, can you wait? I'm still eating my prasad. Yeah, this is what we do. Krishna is ever ready. Prabhupada is ever ready to bring us. We have our little world to control, and we tell Krishna, wait, I'm not. Can you wait? Let me watch my movie, right, Aryan? Let me go hang out with my friends. And Krishna is waiting, the Japamala is waiting. Sometimes the Japamala is crying. Yeah. And sometimes Krishna early morning, 4:30, where is my friend Fernando? He didn't come to see me. Where is my friend? He didn't come to see me. So this is the state of affairs. See how great devotee we are. I can speak about myself. I cannot. Yeah.
But you are so elevated.
We're so inspiring.
No.
Oh, yes.
So then we see who is here and who is here. Krishna tells us, scriptures tells us, Krishna tells us, become my servant. But at the end of the day, really, who is the servant and who is being served? Really, truly in our life. Krishna is serving us. Krishna sent Prabhupada to serve us. Krishna made all these temples using Prabhupada and other devotees for Aryan to come and dance in the kirtan and enjoy prasad. So who is being served here?
It's us. He gives us so much, Krishna.
Yes,
So we should give
the
back.
more you develop this gratitude, the more your bhakti you will prosper in your bhakti. And these things are very little things that we miss it. How many times when you got barfi or a very big fish, you said, Krishna, you served me today with such a feast. Thank you. Yeah. And at the end of the day, even the bhoga, just cook with love and devotion. And Krishna returns you the full plate. Yes. All he takes is that bhava. And Prabhu, if tomorrow your wife cooks a very big plate of feast and he comes to you and show you the plate and he tells you, you know what, I cooked with all the love and devotion. Can you just take the love and devotion and I'll have the plate for myself? Just imagine it. This is Krishna. I was cooking for Krishna one day and I was like, one devotee, Satya, taught me a little bit how to make the best milk. Put this, these spices. And I was like putting badam and everything. I'm meditating. This is going to be the best. Krishna will love this milk. And all my meditation was like that. And at the end, I was a little late to leave because I ended up in the temple. And the pujari lost, he came and he gave me one jug of the milk. He told me, Mataji, this is for you. And when I tasted, I'm like, how Krishna reciprocated. Like, Krishna was like, okay, you gave me this. I'm not just giving you back the same thing. I'm blessing it with I'm making it prasad, blessed. So who is serving who? Who is serving better than Krishna here? We are here. Who is the better servant?
Krishna.
The topmost servant. He gives you the food. He takes the sin out of it. And we say, oh, I'm doing great service. I am there. No. So that mood, if we imbibe, let me hear about the conversation of that sweet Lord, of that merciful Lord who tells, become my servant, serve me, think of me. But all what he does, he's always serving me, constantly serving me and giving me the best life. Are we as devotee, would anyone disagree that we have the best life compared to any human being in this material world?
I think about that.
So who is being served with the topmost? We eat the best food. the sanctified food, the food that doesn't have any, is not contaminated by any sin. We dance like anything in bliss. Go to any concert of Justin Bieber or whoever. Can you feel the bliss that you feel in Kirtan, Aryan? So we derive the best pleasure in our chanting, in our Kirtan. And in sometimes you see devotees, they come from far away to the temple. They're serving early morning. And they don't just come once, they're coming all the time. Why? Because they are able to feel the bliss. Otherwise, how would you be able to come? So another thing is very important. Prabhupada is mentioning, can you show me here? Prabhupada is mentioning in the beginning, it may not be natural to you. Where did we read the last paragraph?
Unless one reads the Bhagavad Gita and suppresses correct, it's very difficult to understand.
Okay.
It's a great mystery.
So first, we should at least theoretically accept Krishna as the Supreme Lord. Prabhupada is telling it's okay even if you fake it. Yes, it's okay, but do it. You know, if someone tell Nima Mataji, someone tells Vishnu, go and become friend with Nima. I know you don't have this exchange, but fake it. How will you feel, Mataji, right in the beginning? You won't feel good. But Prabhupada is telling, go to Krishna. Even if you don't mean it, go to Krishna, even fake it. I know for sure, I guarantee you, you will make it. To that extent, Prabhupada is pushing us towards Krishna for our own welfare. So theoretically, this is why I said humility. Mataji, Prabhu, it's mentioned in Bhagavad Gita, all these divine qualities, but I don't have these qualities. Yes, I don't have, I'm supposed to have naturally, I don't have what to do. Fake it. Just like, you know, when you go on a plane, these air hostesses, Prabhupada did mention that. Do you think they're always happy to see us? Welcome all the time? No, they have to fake it. Then do you think genuinely they are always in the mood to see Vishnu? Oh, great passenger, oh, great everything. No, but they have, you see, they're always smiling, they're always nice. Why? Because they have to fake it. But the difference between material activity and spiritual activity is, if you fake some spiritual, see, there is a difference between faking and imitating. That also you have to be careful. Faking means you're trying. I hate Aryan, but I'm trying to become a friend. I'm trying. What happens when we do that in a spiritual process? There's a transformation of the heart. And Prabhupada knows that. That's like, you know, I know you guys cannot be pure, but fake it until you make it. So with this point, I mean, see, we might say we are going very slowly, but what's the point of going fast?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, even here, if you prepare the mindset, consciousness, one can become eligible to conclude Bhagavad Gita. So that's my mindset. And at some point, there will be things that will go quite quick. So we'll stop here. Make sure you're having your takeaways and you meditate for the whole week. Yes, Donli Amata.
I just wanted to say one thing, Mataji, about what you were just saying. I mean, actually what Srila Prabhupada is saying to us is it's like it's a method that they use in psychological therapy, where you change your behavior
Mhm,
so that eventually then your mind will follow.
mhm.
So you act in a certain way, and eventually the way that you think will change. So what Srila Prabhupada is going, okay, change your behavior, your mind will change, that your cognition will change, but
Mhm.
also your heart will change.
Yeah.
So it's that extra step. But I mean, but initially what he's saying is it's something that's a method that's commonly used to help troubled people.
Mhm. Yes. Thank you, Mataji. And we have to understand who is the topmost psychologist. Where whatever knowledge from here and there, little brains of the world are taking, where does that knowledge come? Krishna.
Yeah.
He's the topmost psychologist.
Oh, yeah.
You know, when Prabhupada said, like, you all finished, I tricked you. You ate the rasgulla.
Yeah.
I tricked you, you know. So thank you, Mataji. That was a very good point. And anyone? Any comments, any questions, any query?
I have one. Do you
Yeah.
have any homework?
Not for now. No.
Really.
Yeah. I'll tell you, don't be like the students in the college, you know, just do what the teacher says, bus, or just do the basic. This is your journey with Krishna started a few sessions ago. It's not a class, it's not gonna be exams or certificate. These are byproducts. That's your journey with Krishna. Now you see how you're going to navigate. And the beautiful thing is, I'm telling the very first session, all Sundays we are having very auspicious days.
Yeah.
Starting the new year.
Yeah.
Can you
Such a
imagine?
wonderful way to start.
Last time we had darshan of Bhakti Maharaj. Very first day was just one day after Advent of Bhagavad Gita. I mean,
We started at a very auspicious time.
yeah. So, well, and I'll just pray, and for you all have the best experience in your journey towards Krishna. Hare Krishna. So we meet next Sunday, and I'm going to still discuss with all of you about the change of time, how it will work. I'll discuss it personally because we're starting another batch. So we'll see how, because there is still this concern of the Bhagavad Gita class that's going on at the temple. So we'll work on it, but I'll do it personally. Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. So for now on, it's still nothing until we finalize something. We are still with the 5 to 7, please. But in the week we'll have some development, and it might be very individual if it will work out. So no, she didn't message. Yeah, she could have been. So ask her. So we'll officially end the class here. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
So nice to see you.
Do we go to temple?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you so much, Harinishta Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Hare
Appreciate you
Krishna.
taking your time. Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you.
Hare Krishna.